Hard work is now easier for me than it has ever been for anybody in the history of the world. I'm grinding and grinding my soul to dust in the pursuit of YouTube followers. I've been working harder in the last few weeks than I have for a long time, and working all day, every day, for weeks and weeks. And it's been a long time since I did that, and I don't think I've ever done it in such a solitary way. Not entirely solitary. I have one partner in crime with this pursuit, and it's felt good, but also it doesn't feel sustainable. And I want to talk about how do we sustainably build a life of pursuing greatness. The greatest version of ourselves can come into existence, but also for many that leads to whipping and whipping into deep unhappiness. And it's like, how does one find a way to live with joy and contentment and connection to life, whilst also bringing whatever we can bring most potently to our work to improve the world in the best way possible, to help others? And this has been a struggle for me. I think for me the struggle's been leaning too much towards the joy and not enough towards the whip. And I know for a lot of people it's too much towards the whip and not enough towards the joy. And I think there is a spectrum here with a sweet spot in the middle. And I may just have found the answer. Lately I've been grinding. I don't think it's sustainable, but how have I even managed to sustain the grind, the monk mode, the hard work? I don't know how many hours of work. I guess I'm in some kind of work mode for around most of the waking day for many, many weeks now. And there have been a few things that have really helped me sustain that for now. I've got a really exciting target, and it feels like it's just within reach if the work can be done. I've given myself an artificial external stress. I'm ignoring all my investments and all that, and I'm just saying I have this amount of money and I must succeed before this amount of money runs out. And that feels really real. And it's a deadline with teeth, which I think is, for me, is just so useful in getting active. Deadlines are crucial for me. So I have this deadline with teeth long term, but also daily I'm working with someone else multiple times a day, having to deliver various things like this video I'm making right now. Got to do stuff so that the workflow with my partner can keep on turning. So the collaboration, having collaborators has been the only way I've ever got stuff done, whether it was writing music in a band or working with a team, building houses, or being in a boat racing team. It's like when I had a team that I was a part of, I by default put in my max effort sustainably over many, many months, and I saw those around me doing the same. We're social animals. We by default want to help each other. When we're in environments where we can have a win-win outcome, where we support one another, we upgrade ourselves and each other, and ultimately our species. And ironically, for a platform, a project which is about helping me and sharing with others, supporting others and connecting to others, my deepening connection to myself, a secure attachment with myself, has allowed me to choose to turn down, to forego connection in various ways. I've been asked out on some dates and I've been like, nah, not right now. I've had options of lots of really fun social things, and it's like, right now I'm prioritizing myself, and that means prioritizing working hard, because that's nourishing for me in both the long term and the short term. Right now the project's exciting and fun, but it doesn't feel sustainable. But I think I know why, and I think I know how to solve that. So what's the struggle here? The struggle is I want to live with deep aliveness. I want to connect to nature. Wow, connecting to nature is extremely wonderful. It's like, yeah, I want to do that more, and I want to connect to others in beautiful, powerful ways. I don't want to sacrifice that long term, and I want to I connect to music and art and the feeling of being awestruck. So good. And right now I'm feeling some of that in this project. It's like, cool, getting stuff done. It's really exciting. I'm using creativity and we're executing on plans and making stuff that's cool. And all these other things are in my peripheral vision as like, I don't want to let those go. I'm not Jeff Bezos. I'm not that Jeff Bezos necessarily lets those go. I'm just using him as an archetype of the multi-billionaire mogul who does nothing but work. And yeah, a friend of mine was the executive assistant to the CEO of Foxconn, the biggest company in Asia. They make iPhones. And the CEO there would work 18, 20 hours a day. He would do nothing but work every day, all day. That might be something that somebody's psyche gets nourished by, although I'm kind of skeptical that's the healthiest life for that guy. But it's certainly not the healthiest life for me long term. And so finding aliveness in all the realms of life is something I want again. And when I think about what is the purpose of my life, I think it's about balancing contentment and impact. And there are different ways of describing those things. Maybe contentment is happiness or well-being, or like this word eudaimonia, which might encompass meaning and purpose even when happiness isn't necessarily so strong. There's a sense of doing things which are deeply gratifying through their sense of meaning, and all that world of eudaimonia and happiness and purpose, and it is a crucial element of life, and balancing that with doing things in the world that help, that support others, is crucial to me. I'm fortunate enough to be born in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, in the most peaceful time in human history, with the least wars and the best healthcare, and for most of human history people didn't have the opportunities I have, and I have every basic need met. There's just an amazing opportunity in that, and it just feels fundamentally important that I use that to try and do what I can. And so right now that's this channel. We'll see if anything comes of it that can actually support. But right now there's a question of how to balance, and right now the balance feels good, like happy and content, but doing this life forever is not going to be content. And so it's like how long to stay in monk mode, when to find balance, how to find balance. And Daniel Schmachtenberger talks about this idea that's been spoken about for millennia, perhaps in different ways, of how do we balance being and doing and becoming. And I think about this a lot and have thought about this for many years, the cycle of being, of living with contentment and awareness and presence, and doing, putting our gift into the world of working, and becoming. How do I become better at being and become more adept at doing? And I think right now there is a skew, a weighting towards doing, whereas in the summer I was living with a lot of being and also becoming, and the becoming partly was related to this connection to self, which has allowed me to choose this doing. And so there's a real interplay. When I connect with myself, I feel more content in my own company, and I feel more okay with nourishing myself and not needing to get that nourishment from other people constantly. Not that nourishment from other people isn't wonderful and necessary, but there's also an ability to feel contentment with ourselves such that we don't have to be skewed all one way. And so over the last few years I've been thinking about the cycle of those modes of being, doing and becoming. And now I realize more and more that, I can actually begin to weave those modes into one another. And so how can I, through doing, actually simultaneously be in a way that is deeply contented and deeply present and deeply connected to myself and to the moment and to the world around me and to the people around me? And I think there is. But there are foundations that need to be put in place and work that needs to be done both internally and in the world to make that more attainable. And that feels kind of like the crux of the solution for me. It's like, how do I build the life I want to live, where this balance takes place, where I can work on a level that I've historically struggled to. And it's through the interplay of all these things, through weaving the being, the doing, the becoming, through finding the balance of contentment and impact. And yeah, I guess it's like a cohesive synthesis of modes of being ultimately feels like the sort of the crux of a lot of the wisdom as I see it in the world, as I read, when I'm reading the Tao Te Ching or thinking about sort of the heart of what Buddhism is about, which is being present and bringing love into the world. Well, there's the question of how to do that in the 21st century, and as I try and do this very specific thing in the world, and I've just been contemplating about that right now, and I wanted to make this video as a means for me to get clarity on that, and just to share that with anyone who's watching. And I'm super curious about where you are in this question of how to balance trying to be successful in the world, trying to feed your family, give yourself the financial freedom to live the life you want to live, whilst also living a life that allows you to relax, allows you to be creative, that gives you the free time to be with your friends and just have a joyful life. How do you balance those things? Are you finding balance? Have you found a symbiosis? I'm curious to know about you, and I'd love to chat with you in the comments. It would be great support if you like this, if you hit the subscribe, the like, ring the notification bell. All those things are super useful for us right now. We're trying to grow this channel. So thanks for being here. I'm Simo Simpson. I wrote something earlier. Yeah, I wrote a line that felt alive to me, that kind of summarized the essence of this. Perhaps let's see if it still resonates with me. Becoming the best, most potent beacon for myself and for those I shine with means moving towards this cohesive synthesis of modes of being, to find deep presence and joy and love and awe in the process of sharing myself with the world. Thanks for listening. If you got this far, this is the road to connection. See you next time.